We're live.
All right, all right. Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the first of many videos to come from a new discussion series called Words from Wisdom. This series is birthed out of an initiative called Taste of Inspiration, and our objective is to use conversation to challenge the way you think. So I'm going to get into this real quick. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Chris. I am from Toronto, Ontario. Guys, you can feel free to introduce yourselves whenever you're ready.
My name is Andro Wisdom, and I hail from Brampton, Ontario.
My name is Corey Wisdom, and I am also from Brampton, Ontario.
All right, all right. You guys ready to get into this?
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
let's do it.
I just want to add a little bit of a disclaimer. So this is our perspective. In no way does it reflect the um, perspective of the entire male species.
But it should.
It's our perspective, and occasionally we will take the other side and we will play devil's advocate. So we don't want emails, we don't want tweets, we don't want messages saying you guys are misogynistic and all this other foolishness. All right. So the topic of today's session is actually called the making of a woman. Ironically. So the making of a woman. I guess my first question to you guys would be this: what do you admire about a woman? Besides the obvious, please.
Well,
I don't have to say it would be their ability to wear a bunch of different hats. You know, go from being mom to being sister to being in some cases the breadwinner. You know, just the ability to wear all those different hats. That's the main thing that I admire about women.
I would definitely have to say intellect and class.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So we'll move on to the first question. So the first question is a woman's confidence too deeply rooted in her appearance? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? A woman's
Absolutely.
confidence
Absolutely.
deeply rooted in her appearance, and so why? How? Okay. Well, let's start with how. How do you know that? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I believe that that is it because society and us men basically that's the only thing we really value, right? We don't really get to know the other stuff unless um, we actively try to seek that. Before you even approach a woman, the first thing you're judging is her appearance, right? And if you notice, most women definitely take a lot more care of the way their appearance looks as opposed to men. So definitely they are more cautious about the way they appear, their appearance, knowing that they're consistently being judged, whether it's for the opposite sex or being judged by other women. But I believe a lot of their confidence is deeply valued in the way in their appearance.
Yeah, and for myself, I try not to say, society is the reason for everything, but like when you look at the big role models who are prominent and out there in the media a lot, as far as what it is that women are watching, you have the Kardashians and those people like that, and that's the image that's being perpetuated as what is deemed acceptable. So that the beauty image is something that's really pushed for women as far as how they need to appear. And when you look at things like the that help me again, guys, the Dove advertisement or promotion. What is that again?
The
That
beauty in your
95%,
something like
yeah, that
Yeah,
95% of women don't feel like they're beautiful.
right, exactly. And what is the main reason behind that? As far as I know, it's because what's put out there, with all the photoshopping that goes on the models' bodies, etc. So it's these are the reasons why women find most of their value in beauty.
But okay, so but what about men though? Because if we're gonna look at all visual creatures, and we're saying we're all agreeing that women that their confidence is too deeply rooted in their appearance. But what about men? Do women not like attractive men as well? Do men not have yeah, they might not have the same pressure that women have in order to be attractive or stay attractive or whatever you want to call it, or look good, I should say. But why isn't it that a man's confidence isn't wouldn't be considered deeply rooted in their appearance? Why is there such a difference there though? Why do you guys think there's such a difference?
Andre, you want to go? Okay, I'll go. Definitely, I believe that it's because it's the way we've been portrayed also in society and in the media. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that necessarily, as Andro said, the media is the end all, but men aren't necessarily portrayed as sex symbols or over sexualized. So I mean, the most that we'll go is probably like a buff guy with muscles, probably, right? But other than that, it doesn't really go more than that. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly emphasized on, does he have money, or is he educated, or does he have a good personality? You know what I'm saying? And also, women are not wired like men are to assess appearance as women are. Women definitely look for more deeper things such as personality, character, security, those type of things. So therefore, attraction might be the door opener, but it's not. It doesn't seal the deal as it would for men, definitely.
See,
Yeah.
but that's the interesting. Now that you talked about, sorry, go ahead, Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, Chris, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because now that you talked about confidence and a man's his confidence might be in his money or in his job, and I find it interesting because with a guy, and you guys can tell me your thoughts on this as well, but with a guy, it's almost like, or with people in general, it's almost like their confidence begins to lie in whatever society deems as important. You know what I mean? So, for example, if for you, when would you feel more insecure? When you have little money approaching a girl, or when you don't look at your best?
I think that as far as initial contact, it would probably be not looking my best more than.
I'm sorry, maybe not when you approach a girl, but in general, because what I'm trying to get at is with in for men, it's more seen as, okay, women want a guy that has a nice job or a good job and has reasonable amount of money. Well, I'm not saying all women. Please don't slander my name and all of a sudden accuse me of saying that all women want gold diggers or whatever. But most women want security, and so the guy with a stable job, relatively good education perhaps. But and so that's where he'll put his. That's where he will have his. That's where his confidence might lie. So I'll give you an example for myself. For me, my confidence doesn't really align my look, so I can go out in track pants and a tracksuit and I'll be fine. I'll still be confident within myself. But if I were to meet somebody younger than me, I'll tell you when I get a little feeling of insecurity. When I meet someone younger than me who's more successful than I am, that is when I feel insecure. That's when I feel like, you know what? I need to do something in my life, man. I need to get somewhere. You know what I mean? So that for me, and I guess that could be because society or whoever or people out there, what's attractive about a guy is maybe his ambition or maybe what he's doing with his life versus how he looks only.
That is true. That is true because in regards to myself also, I feel like, for example, if I was in a relationship and my woman, she left me for some guy who was more good looking, I would feel hurt, but I wouldn't feel as hurt unless, say, if she married me for a rich man. If she left me for a rich guy, which definitely made me feel like, okay, like I'm complete shit here. Like, I mean, I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's also true.
Andre, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, exactly as you said, with the feeling of inadequacy, like if someone else is kind of doing more than me or achieving more than me, it's a burner, man. And to be quite honest with you, it makes me have to reconsider my whole game plan, because it's like, well, if he's XYZ age, why am I not able to achieve actually at a higher level than him if he's younger than me? So it's.
So
Go ahead.
I guess my next question would be, how did that happen? How did this happen? How did a woman's confidence become so deeply rooted in her appearance? You know what I mean? To the point where many women will invest so much more in the way they look than into their intelligence. You know what I mean? Or their education. They'll put so much more money into. For me, I'd be interested to see over a period of time how much money is spent on the average woman's life on clothes, on shoes, bags, jewelry, makeup. I'd be interested to see the fraction of their wages that go towards these things versus everything else. Maybe versus like their education or whatever else it might be. That'd be interesting to see. You know what I mean? But my question is, how does this happen? how do we get to this point where women feel like they cannot go without makeup? How do we get to that point where they feel like their life is coming to an end if they can't get to a Sephora? You know what I mean? How did we get to this point? Like, from your perspective, we're all guys here, obviously. So from your perspective, how did we get to this point?
Joe?
Well, you know what? I can tell you first and foremost with the makeup and all that stuff. I have a girlfriend, and her makeup budget blows out my entire clothing budget for the entire year in 1 month. So it's pretty crazy that's you know, a good showing of probably what the majority of women might end up spending their money on. I think, at least. How have we gotten here? Frig, because you're gonna have to edit this one out because I have no idea where I'm going.
Well, in my opinion, I definitely believe it goes back to primitive times. You know, women didn't receive education. They didn't receive. They didn't really have any skill other than you know, to be in the home or something. So I believe that, you know, if you really think of it, all you really could do in assessing a woman at the time was based on her beauty and, you know, the psychology of her ability to be fertile. So the more beautiful a woman looks, you know, based on, you know, science, so they say, of, you know, her shape, her curves, and her beauty, then basically that determines how fertile she is according to studies. So, you know, I believe that it definitely goes back to then, you know, and it still carries over now.
So doesn't it seem like the odds were stacked against her from the beginning, though? Because I mean, if there's all this pressure, if there's all this pressure for her to feel good, and I mean, it's not just pressure. Like when you look at any scenario, or most scenarios in terms of a woman being pursued, they are the one being pursued. So whether it's a man pursuing a woman, or whether it's a woman pursuing a woman, the woman's the one who's being pursued. And because we're all visual creatures, we have to, the woman has to maintain a certain level of attractiveness, quote unquote, or she has to look good physically in order for her to feel pursued. So it's not, and then you talked about being the fertility. You also talked about well, the whole idea of the biological clock, you know, and how that's ticking for most women. So it seems like the odds were stacked against them from the beginning. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that they're given this strength to be able to handle it, or do you think that it's more of a, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I think it's BS, to be honest.
Well, I believe it was stacked against them from the time. I mean, you know, Eve shouldn't have ate the fruit. I'm talking shit, but definitely it is. You know, when you look at it, right? For example, you take, okay, for example, growing up, right? Men are the one who pursue, so the woman has to wait around and hope that a good quality guy comes to pursue her. That's one challenge in itself, right? Okay, once the guy comes, now you have to worry about him not straying to somebody else who's also beautiful, and then you might feel like you might not size up to that woman. So that's another thing you have to worry about. The next thing you have to worry about is, you know, is this guy gonna take care of me? Is this guy gonna want to look out for me? Is this guy gonna protect me? That's one thing you have to look out for. I'm gonna age. I'm not gonna be as pretty anymore. There's gonna be young women out there. Is he gonna, like, you know, will I still be valuable to him? You know, those. Like, there's always a challenge at each stage. For men, as long as you do your part, all you really have to do as a man is legit find that woman and do right. As long as you're loyal, faithful, you take care of her. Like, you really don't have anything to worry about. Women still have things to worry about even when they're doing their job. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely stacked against them. Absolutely.
Okay, but hold on, because now I feel like let me take the standpoint of I'm gonna try my very best. I'm gonna try to take a standpoint of a feminist, right? Well, maybe not an extreme feminist, but I'm gonna take the standpoint of an independent woman. Now, you're saying that a woman, a lot of the pressures that she has is reliant on the man. You know what I mean? But why? Like, why is it that I need to worry about him going out and sleeping around or whatever the case is? Like, is that really a pressure? Like,
I don't think it's a pressure, but the fact that it's a worry is there. Like, I feel like every woman at some times, from time to time, has that thought or has that worry. They might not say it, but I feel like every day they do, because at the end of the day.
Let me ask you a question. Is that because that's just how women are wired, or is it because oftentimes that's what they come into contact with. The guy is just all the time cheating on them.
Not necessarily, because there's plenty of stories where you'll have that that woman who's always thinking like her man might be up to no good, or like or he might be is he sneaking around. Like a lot of women have that fear. There's even women who don't necessarily want to get into relationships because they don't want to run the risk of getting hurt. If they've never been hurt before and they're already even scared to even go into a relationship because they're scared that they might get hurt, like what does that tell you about the female psyche? I don't want to say it's all females, but you can kind of see where you can kind of see the mindset that they have from early on.
Yeah, but is that really their psyche though, or is that something that's ingrained in them, or is that just a learned mechanism, a defense mechanism? Because it's funny because I want.
No, I don't think it's learned. But go ahead.
Okay. So one of you guys says defense. Okay, well here's my thing though. Here's my thing, because I once heard because sorry before I get into that, because if you were to take that standpoint and say that it's not learned, then that means that men are prone to screw up. That men are prone to screw up, and that women have this defense mechanism in them for that reason. And
many people do believe that.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Why would that be something that's innately built into them, into guys, I guess, to be willing to cheat at a moment's notice, and then for women to be...
Okay, well,
because the thing is,
I don't think that men are necessarily.
Because sorry, Corey.
Go ahead.
I heard there was this conversation that was happening over Twitter, and these guys were saying that that a woman should feel lucky if she has a man that doesn't cheat. They said that a woman should feel lucky if she has a man that doesn't cheat, and their argument was that a man is prone to cheat, that he is prone to cheat, and I really want to get you guys' thoughts on that. I really want to get your thoughts on that. Is as a man, are you prone to cheat?
I don't think you're necessarily prone to cheat, but very few men know how to have the self-discipline to not to.
Okay.
I'll agree with that.
That's my statement. Very few men possess the self-discipline to not to. But if as men we're visually stimulated, it's very easy to get carried away. So if you see a beautiful woman, right? If you're attracted to beautiful women, right? As a beautiful woman can get you aroused. A beautiful woman who has a nice shape, or if you see a naked woman, that can get you aroused, right?
But that thing goes for women though. As much as we say that guys are the ones who are visual, women are just as stimulated. Like if they see Brad Pitt, Denzel, some of them they lose their mind.
I really don't think I really do not think that it's to the degree to where men are. I really just don't, because I find that they're such emotional beings, and I just feel like, okay, yeah, a lot of women will be like, okay, yeah, he's so sexy, he's so fine, or he's handsome, but then they'll be like that's as far as it goes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll never. I always find, especially when I ask them, it's like, okay, yeah, the most I go is like, yeah, he's sexy, he's cute, but other than that, like, I need to know, like, is he a good guy? Is he a this? Is he a that? Or he probably has a lot of women around him. He's probably like not a good dude. Like, it always goes back to that. And or they say, oh, I don't want to be in competition with other women, so that's why I really don't go for the high status man or the man who's super looking, who's super good looking. Sorry.
I'm gonna disagree there, man, because you know what? There are some women who I know of that they get that intense stimulation from a really good looking guy, and they'll actually allow. And it's funny because most women, like some women, a lot of them that I talk to, they'll say that if an ugly guy approaches them, they'll be so turned off, and they'll be like, why is this guy approaching me, or don't talk to me, whatever. And then if a really good-looking guy approaches them, it's more of a ease back. Like, it's not like a jump back completely or turn away. It's more of a, oh, hey, how you, oh, well, whatever. Okay, well, I'm in a relationship, unfortunately, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it still does play a factor, man. And I'm sure that good-looking guys have gotten women to cheat.
No, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, but I find that it's very, like, I find like if the thing is that attractive people, I think we tend to be more, I think it's just human nature to react positively to somebody who's attractive, right? So I don't necessarily think that you know what I'm saying? So therefore, I mean, I find that, okay, for example, a man can have a good woman who's all about him, dedicated 100%, and he could still cheat. But that same woman can be approached by multiple good-looking men, and she won't cheat.
True. True. I hear that.
He's absolutely right. But why is that though? See, and I know we jumped from discussing women to now discussing of men, but I really want to know why is that though?
I think
like why is
just what Corey was saying.
Sorry. I just want to throw the question out there. So why is it a guy can have a really good woman? I mean, like a really good woman, and he's still willing to go out and cheat?
Yeah. So I think it goes kind of back to what Corey was saying as far as oh man, see, here's the thing that I find tricky about this, because Corey was saying that it's an innate behavior, right? And Chris, you and I were kind of arguing that it's learned. So then I think this is kind of where the blurred line comes into play a little bit, because I think that it does kind of go back to just the fact that women are more, they're wired naturally to be more, as long as I'm being taken care of, and I feel secure in the relationship, then I'm gonna stick around and I'll be completely content with him. Whereas men, we see the girl, she's gorgeous, I lose my mind, So I think that as far as that part goes, it's a natural behavior kind of for guys to be more attracted to the pretty woman versus the women being more willing to kind of just give themselves to the guy, if that makes sense.
So. Okay, because here's my thing. Is it an urge then? Is it an urge that a man will get that's stronger than the woman's urge if they see someone attractive? Because women have that same, like they have that same idea as to what attractive is. So if they see a really good-looking guy, it's almost like they might have more. It seems like they might have more self-control than the guy, because it wouldn't make sense to me that I don't think that women have or men. Don't know why I'll edit this, but
what's happening?
I don't know. This app just popped up. Sorry. Let me just. All right, so I'm gonna edit that. But yeah. So I don't think that women have or men have a stronger urge than women have. I don't think that. So and if that's the case, then it'll be the matter of women have more self-control than men. I think that's what it would boil down to, because when you think about it, if a woman sees a really attractive guy and she's in a relationship with a guy already, what do you think is going through her head? Like if a really good-looking guy comes onto a woman in a relationship, what do you think is going on in her head at that point? Do you think that in her head she doesn't think the guy's attractive? Why is it that a man will succumb faster or more to a woman, to a seductive or attractive woman, versus the other way around? Like I don't think that it's ingrained. I think if anything, women just have better self-control than men do.
I disagree. I believe that if an attractive man comes onto the woman, like in her mind at the end of the day, it's what she's able, in my opinion, I believe she's able to resist it more because her emphasis is more on the other things, such as the personality, character, what she already has at home, right? So therefore, it's. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a sexual urge or she doesn't have the urge to, be attracted to somebody, but I feel like the urge is not as strong. Like that's not where the emphasis is. For men, for example, right? We can if we see a successful woman, whatever, right? It doesn't really faze us as much. But if she's beautiful, that's where our emphasis lies. So that's why I believe that the attraction, the physical attraction, is innate within men.
Okay, so then would it be something that is attraction? Is that what it really boils down to then? What I find to be attractive or what I value most in a relationship, would that be what it is? Because I don't see that women. I don't think that men have stronger urges for a beautiful woman than a woman would have stronger urges for a beautiful man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I think the urge will be the same.
I think as far as priority goes, I think that attractiveness is far more higher up on the guy's to-do list than a female's.
Physical, right?
Right.
Okay.
So then here's my thing then. If that's your perspective, then why, if you believe that the urge is equally the same, why don't they stray just as much? Like how you're saying, okay, they have better self-control, but what makes them have better self-control? If you believe that
what they value most in what they value more in relationships, because for a guy that will go out and cheat on his woman, it's not to say that he doesn't value those things either, though. It's not to say that he doesn't value that his wife will come home and she'll cook for him or whatever. It's not to say that he doesn't value her believing in him or her supporting him. It's not to say that he doesn't value those things. I honestly believe it goes back to self-control.
Okay,
I believe that.
But then how is it that concept applies to so many women? Like, how is it that concept applies to billions and billions of women? How though? Like, how does that innately apply to all of them?
It has to be some type of strength that they have. It has to be that type of strength, or you know what? It could be the fact that you had said that they're more emotional than men, or whatever that means. But they're more tied to their emotions, or what would the word be? The bond when a woman is in a relationship, it seems like most of the time that the bond or whatever she holds to that relationship stronger or tighter. You know what I mean? So like if they were to go through a breakup, then she'd maybe be hurting a little longer than the man would be. Like it seems like she holds to the relationship more, or maybe she gives more. I don't know what it would be, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that she holds to the relationship more. So now in her mind, it's so hard, man. It's really hard because I'm not a woman, so I don't know what goes through their head at that point. At the point where let's say they see a really attractive man. I don't know, because for me, if I see a really attractive girl and she came on to me, right? In my mind, it would be more of a look. You know, I don't want to mess up what I have right now with my girlfriend. I don't want to screw that up. You know what I mean? It's not to say that you're not beautiful or anything, but I wouldn't want to screw up what I have right now. I don't know if that's their thought process. I don't know if it's more of a I'm not interested in you. Yeah, you're attractive, but I'm not interested because I already have something at home, or if it's I'm not interested because I don't want to screw up what I have at home. Do you get me? Do you get me there? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I believe it could be that, and it could also, and I think women are able to look. I think women are definitely more they're able to see more of the whole package of things rather than men. So women might like the guy might be attractive, but she's thinking holistically. I don't find that men think holistically a lot of times. Hence the reason I feel like if we did, we'd be less likely to cheat. If you understand what I'm saying. So before I go cheat, I'll probably be like, I'm gonna say, okay, you know what, I can cheat, but like, do I really want to go through divorce? Do I really want to lose half? Do I really want to, break someone's heart or have my name through the mud?
To lose half.
So you have that, but I feel like women definitely think about the big picture. So that's why I'm saying, like, yes, a man might be attractive, but like because they have such a holistic mindset that I feel like it's not as intense as it would be for a man. I don't know, like it is.
I see your point. I see your point in terms of having the holistic perspective, and the urge might not be as strong as a man because the man would more so narrow in on particular features or particular outcomes or whatever, whereas the woman would see the bigger picture, so her urge might not be as strong to go out there and do whatever.
Let me throw something else out there. Do you think that it's because maybe women feel like this is it, like I might not have another opportunity to find another guy, whereas guys are more like, I can pick up whatever girl whenever I'm ready to?
Yeah, okay. No, to be honest, I want to say yes, that's the case, that I really think that's the case, but no, you know what, I do. I think that's the case, man. I think that when a woman locks in, it's like she's locked in. For the most part, she's locked in. And then for her, even when I console some women sometimes when they've gone through a breakup, it's like you'll always hear the same thing where they're saying, I can't go on without this guy. Like, I need this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you were to tell them at that point, there's other guys. Like, in their mind, it's like this was it. I mean, I guess that depending on the dynamics of the relationship, but if it's a guy, I don't know. You guys have been through breakups. What do you think? For me, it wasn't like that. It was more like it is what it is. Like, hit the fan. It's hit the fan, and gotta move on.
Now, be real, Chris. Is that only because you're trying to put on the macho front, or is it because
No.
like?
No, it's
Really?
not to say it's not to say that I wasn't hurt or anything. But what I'm saying is, like, in my mind, I didn't put like a period where there was just a comma. You know what I mean? Like I was able to see further than this one person, and I didn't feel like at no point, and this is on the record, at no point did I feel like my life was over. Right?
So then my question to you would be also, do you think that that's just because you were beginning kind of the process of disconnect prior to her actually experiencing it? Like it kind of hit her, the breakup, like a ton of bricks, or like you were more ready and you saw it coming and you're like, okay, so I'm already preparing myself for this inevitable breakup.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think that I had no, but you know what? I've never actually been dumb, so I can't speak from that angle. So I think for the most part, yeah, I think because I had the foreknowledge and I've been distancing myself prior, so I guess that's the case. I think that's the case, and I don't really know how the other side would feel. I don't know. Have you guys been someone broke up with you guys?
I think another factor too is as a man, right? When you're breaking up, okay, I believe that both parties go through hurt, but I think it's much easier for a man to find love again than it is for a woman, because I feel like there's so much more women out there who want to find somebody, to give their love to give this to, right? But when women get back on the market now, they have to worry about, okay, like, is this guy really about me? Can I be myself around him? Now I have to figure, like, is he going to be loyal to me? Like, you have to ask those questions. Men don't really have to ask those questions. So knowing that, okay, in the event if I break up, or okay, yeah, I'm broken up now, but like that's not the end all, because you know that there's more options out there. You know that at some point there has to be somebody out there who you can find who can love you, make you happy. So therefore, there's no need to dwell and be stuck on this one individual.
So then I guess I'd ask the question: what do men really assess then? If a man is not assessing, will she cheat on me? If he's not assessing, will she take care of me? Like, what is he really assessing then? Because I'm gonna disagree with you, but I want to know from your perspective, what is he actually assessing? If he's not assessing those things, and keeping in mind, I don't think he's gonna be assessing the exact same things that a woman would be assessing. Yeah. But if he's what is he actually assessing then?
I think men are assessing whether this woman whether this one is going to be a nurturing individual. Yeah, I think men are assessing
for my kids or whatever.
And will she be?
So you think that they're already? Nah, I don't think so. You think they're already thinking kids at that point?
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Guys what are you talking about?
Oh, didn't you say for my kids? Didn't you say nurturing from my kids? Nurture from my kids?
Yeah, I said as a guy, one of the things that I would probably be thinking about is can she take care of my kids, and is she going to take care of me properly?
Right. So is that like a legitimate thing? Like when you look for a woman, like did you look for that? Like did you actually have that?
You know what? I think it's a subconscious thing. Like I don't think.
Can you take care of my kids? Like.
No, absolutely not. But I think it's a subconscious thing for a man to think to himself, okay, okay, you go on a date, this and that, right? I find like men, okay, for example, men have a need to be respected, right? Now, I find like if a woman, when upon meeting a woman, like if she has that tenderness, like men are attracted to that. Not necessarily that you're looking for it, but it draws you in.
Okay.
So therefore, it's definitely one of the things that they subconsciously assess. Like, you go on a date with her, you meet her, you're like, is she willing to rub your back for you or something? Like if you're stressed, like is she willing to, or you talk to her and like she has a soothing voice, she's calm, like the calm demeanor, things like that draw men in.
Right.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? So I think those are the things that definitely are assessed.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the next question. Women, what do you think a woman's biggest insecurity is? And why? What do you think a woman's biggest insecurity is, and why?
I'd have to say body image.
Why?
Body image, because I've seen, okay, this is based on my own experience. I've seen some women who are actually, in my opinion, I don't find them attractive, but they have the most confidence because they might have, like, they have shape. You know what I'm saying? But I find, but for example, like, I'll have a woman who I've met a woman, for example, and she'll have absolutely no shape, and like she tries to, I guess, compensate for it in other areas where, say, like, becoming smart or something. But you can tell that they're not really that confident in their image. So I definitely feel that body image is the number one in regards to insecurity. They always want to know, okay, is my boobs big enough? Is my butt big enough? Is my waist small enough? Always. For example, women are always concerned about weight. Weight's a big thing.
I get that this is what it is right now, but you know what? I really want to get to the root of it though. Like, what started this? Like, why is this like this? Why is it that the majority of women they might be insecure about their body? They might be insecure about their looks. Why is that? Is it because it's ingrained in them, or is that learned? Did something happen along the way that created that insecurity in them?
I believe it's learned. I believe the concept of not being happy with who you are. I definitely believe it's a concept of, I believe it's learned behavior, right? When you take a child who's, let's say, 2 or 3 years old, right, or let's say 5, a child doesn't start thinking, okay, my nose is too big, or I'm too fat. But as you get older and you start, your mind starts opening up, you start to say, okay, well, this person's different from I am. And you start thinking, okay, this person has this and I don't have this. And I think that's where the comparison comes in. And especially with society saying, okay, well, my environment tells me that this is the ideal image that everybody likes, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it's accepted. So therefore, if I don't fit that, then that's when insecurity starts happening.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. It goes back to kind of what we were talking about as far as image being the biggest thing that women have feel the most insecure about, because damn, you guys, I am sorry. God, I'm sorry, yo. I'm not here clearly. Holy crap. I'm sorry.
We'll edit. Okay, so with that though, right? Like, because I think that, to be completely honest with you, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think men started that. I think men,
we did.
They are the cause for that insecurity, and it's primarily because when you think about what a man would see to be attractive, right? Especially back in the day, it was all physical. It was primarily physical. You know what I mean? And then I guess they have like research or whatever, the evolution of this. They have like this research to say that when men look for women who had wider hips, so that they could see that they're more fertile, so they'd be able to give birth to their kids, or all that kind of other stuff. But I guess my thing is, I feel like men created this insecurity in women by only pursuing what they see, by only pursuing the physical attributes. Not to say that those aren't important, but like when you think about something like before women had the right to vote, or before women were like pursuing CEO positions and they had quote unquote ambition, before they had any of that, what would an attractive woman look like? Primarily physical, and maybe the way she takes care of the kids at home, or maybe the way she cleans, or all that kind of stuff. But now you have this. Now you have this. We're living in a time where there's like a whole new spectrum of what a woman can be attractive in. You know what I mean? So now, educated woman is attractive. I find educated women attractive. I find women who are able to articulate themselves well, I find that to be attractive. But maybe 50 years, 50, 60, 70 years ago, that would not be seen as attractive. So it's almost like it requires education now, because we need to now educate these young men that women are more than just their bodies.
Absolutely.
Right, so and that kind of just feeds into the point of it's a learned behavior for the most part, because we can be trained, and as society advances over the course of time, what we deem as beautiful and attractive, it changes, right? So of course it's something that's learned over a period of time.
It's true, and it's true. And if I can interject too, the whole concept of, for example, like, back in slavery, black people or black men and women were seen as unattractive, right? But now it's been a hot commodity for let's say a Caucasian woman to be with a black man, or whatever. So it's become, it's definitely learned behavior. I'll definitely say also.
So you guys heard about the whole thing that's going on in Nigeria, right? With the 200 young girls, 200 plus young girls that were kidnapped.
Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunate situation.
the Islamist extremists. Sorry. I guess my question is, well, one of the reasons why they ended up kidnapping those girls was because they're opposed to women education, right? Now, a lot of feminist groups, they will argue that, you know, education is a fundamental right to being human. It is what it means to be human, and everybody should have that equal right to be educated. Now, I guess I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a second, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Now, what do you think about that? Now, because women are educated over here in the West, in North America, and pretty much everywhere, why is it that we feel that that should be a human right? Why is it that we feel that that should be a universal right to be able to get that? Like, what defines a universal right or a human right in the first place? And why is it that we say, well, because we have that we have that opportunity, that should be a fundamental right for all human beings? Because I guess what I'm looking at is they're living over there in Nigeria, right? Who's to say that because we say that women should be educated, does that mean that should be the case across the board? Like, who's to say that these guys aren't right? Not in the sense of what they're doing, because it's wrong, but I'm talking about their philosophy in the sense of women not being opposed to women education. And again, I want to put out this disclaimer that this is not how I feel. I am just trying to pick the brain. Okay? So who's to say that they're not right? And who's to say that we're the ones who got it wrong? What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Joe, there you go.
Go ahead first, Corey. I'm still formulating how to respond.
All right. Well, I mean, in regards to a universal right, I think one thing that should be basically a universal right to every human being is the opportunity to be able to get a deeper understanding of life and the concept of life, right? And much of that is done through education. So, I mean, I can't really comment on another culture's beliefs, but I feel that a right should definitely, I believe that is a right, that every human being should definitely have a deeper understanding of life and the aspects of life, so that they can also become a better individual. So therefore,
yeah, but you saying that, right? You're saying it from a perspective of somebody who grew up where women had that right, where women or primarily everybody has access to education. So now you're used to that. That's what you know. So of course you're gonna find a way to justify it. But if you're living in a time, let's say you were living in another country or another continent and they never had that, right? Women and they still found a way to exist. Women they still had their roles. I mean, let's rewind to like 70 years ago when women never had that right. Society still went forward, and now we've decided with the women's liberation and all that stuff, we've decided that women should have the right to vote. Women should have all these equal rights to do the things that men do. Now, but who's to say that that's right?
Well, let me ask you a question. Back in slavery times, right? Specifically to African Americans at the time, one of the biggest things that they did was they used the Bible as a means of letting the blacks know, you know, this is God's will for you, right? So one of the most dangerous things, at least at that time, was just using it as a form of oppression, and just because they weren't able to grab that information and analyze it and assess it for themselves, they had to take it as law. So for me, it's a matter of if not being able to attain education is a form of slavery, in my opinion, because you're blocked from improving, you're blocked from being able to understand the things in your environment, in your world more. It's just I don't think it's a positive thing at all.
Well, you just shut me up. That's a very good point. Very solid. All right, that's good. That's good. So I have another question though. So, men I once heard this. I was listening to this motivational speaker, and he was talking to a group of men, and he had said that a lot of men suffer from something called the Superman syndrome. And basically what he was describing that to be was a man, most men, they don't have an opportunity to turn off. Like, say they don't have an opportunity to no longer be a man. So if they're in a relationship with a woman, and the woman needs security, or that woman needs him to be that pillar, or that woman needs him to be that logic, or whatever the case is, then he doesn't have the opportunity to turn off. Same thing with at work. So if whatever position he's in, he doesn't have the opportunity to turn off. So it sounds like the man feels like he needs to be on all the time. He always needs to be the provider.
I'm just trying to understand the scenario here. So what about with women? At what point do women get a chance to turn off and not be
Well,
women?
I mean, if you want to slow your horses there, sir. I was getting No, so I was going to ask you guys, do you think that women have that same, I guess, do you think they would have some type of equivalent to that? Like, do you feel like they feel like they can get a break?
I do believe that I do believe that.
You do?
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Andro. My bad. Go ahead, Andro.
Well, Corey, you're the one on the opposing side, it appears. So what
Right,
do you
so I'm going to definitely disagree with you there, man.
I mean, I definitely feel that they can get a break to turn off. Like, I mean, for example, like, let's say a woman doesn't want to sleep with her husband, right? Because she's just not down for it. Then, you know, if she's not in the mood for it, she doesn't have to sleep with him. Or if she doesn't want to cook, she doesn't have to cook, right? Let's say if she wants to leave her house and go outside her house not looking her best or not looking attractive, she doesn't have to. She can go about her business, and then there's no labels. But a man now, for example, a guy can be honestly, like, a guy can't just say I don't want to work for a month. If he says that, he's labeled. A guy can't say, okay, well, you know, I don't want to fix things around the house. I don't want to teach my kids. I don't want to look after my kids. Like, I just want to break. If he does that, he's seen as not a man. So I feel like constantly around the clock, he kind of has to hold that position. And I guess that's what being a leader is always being in control of the situation all the time, even when you don't necessarily feel comfortable or up for it.
I don't know if I'd agree with that guy, because, like, for me, if my woman was not cooking, not willing to you know, have intercourse with me or whatever, my thought would be, well, you're inadequate. Like, there's a whole bunch of problems there. Like, I don't know. I don't think women do get the opportunity to turn off at all, because they're expected and required, especially in today's age, to wear so many different hats. Like, they have to be mom, they have to in some cases be the CEO. Like, I don't think that they have an opportunity to turn off, man.
But I agree with your point. But imagine, okay, for example, like, let's say your woman didn't do anything in any of that, and let's say you left her, right? Let's say you left her because of that. If you left her, I still don't believe that the favor would be in your side. Like, I feel like people would be like, okay, well, you know, you made the right decision, this and that, blah, blah. Like, I feel a lot of people would say, okay, well, why are you not understanding, or why are you not, or why are you not, what kind of man would do that, right? But if for example, the roles are switched now, and you as a guy say, well, I don't feel like working, I don't feel like this, and the woman decided to leave you, people are gonna say, okay, well, you know what? That's perfect. You should have left him, because he's not doing what a man's supposed to do, or he's not playing his part.
I don't know, man. You what?
No, I see it. I see what he's getting at, but I don't agree though. I don't think that a woman has the opportunity to shut off. I don't think she has that opportunity to turn off.
Because I think the label will still be placed in those instances, like on the women, if she opted out of doing those things. So if the labels are there still, then doesn't that not show that she is not able to turn off as well?
Because I think it would get turned off. Because when you think about if a woman decides to not like, what would happen if you're in a relationship with a woman, or no, let's not even look at them in a relationship, but let's look at them in general. If a woman walks onto the street, she decides not. Okay, I'll give you an example. Actually, I'll give you a real life example. So there was one time where my girlfriend, she didn't wear makeup one day. Okay, she's beautiful. She's beautiful, by the way. But she didn't wear makeup one day. And to be completely honest with you, she was on her period. So I genuinely thought, from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely thought that she was sick. I seriously thought she was sick, to the point where I even asked him, like, I'm like, baby, are you okay? Like, you look a little pale. And then she was just like, no, I'm not wearing makeup. And I felt like a complete idiot. I felt like a complete idiot. But it's almost like that label is placed on them if they're not up to par at every single moment. You know what I mean? So if at one moment where because my woman's really supportive, so if at one point she's no longer taking on that supportive role, it'll become a problem for me. You know what I mean? So I feel like the pressure to always be on is the same as them. It's the same as men. And I can't even imagine a mother of, like, let's say 4 or 5, who's also a wife. And as Andro said, like, they have to wear all these hats. You know what I mean? And it's like they have to do so much. And I don't know, man. So I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree, sir.
Well, we're all gonna have to agree to disagree. What's the next question?
Women as sex objects. Women as sex objects. Okay, I guess one of my first questions would be, what do you think that does to the woman? Like, what do you think that does to the woman? I mean, obviously, it's a loaded question, but what do you? Is something boring to you, sir? Something boring to you while you're yawning?
No, relax. That's not good.
I'll edit that. Still, I'll edit that. But women as sex objects, though. Like, I mean, obviously as men, I'm sure that we've looked at women. I don't gawk, to be honest. I don't stare and like. That's not my. But I outglance, you know, and whatever. But
who gawks?
Women being seen as sex objects. Like, what do you guys think about that?
And
I'll give you an example. I was watching American Idol one time, and this is a while ago, and they always referenced how good the woman looked. I'm not saying that at this point this is when she looked like this is when she was treated as a sex object. I'm just saying it's just weird because they always reference how beautiful she was. So if she came out like in a nice dress or you know, hair done up nice, they would always say, "Wow, you're so beautiful," regardless of what the man looked like. He would never get that. He would never get, "Wow, you are so handsome." Well, I've never seen that on I've seen it, but not as often as I see with women. How if a woman is accepting an award, they'll say, you know, she's beautiful, and they will point to her physical features, physical beauty, or physical attractiveness. Mm-hmm. So, like, let's go back to the question: women as sex objects. Where did that come from, or what's your guys' thoughts on it? What do you think? What effect do you think it has on the woman? And is it really something that can be changed?
No, I don't think it can be changed. I believe that women are definitely over sexualized in the media. You know, because I mean, that's all the media ever emphasizes is her hair long, is her hair down to her butt, is the bigger the booty, the bigger the breast, the flatter the stomach, the wider the hips. You know, it's always over sexualized. It's always emphasized. The emphasis is never on her intelligence, her kindness, or her ability to care for others. The emphasis is never that. It's always on the way she looks. So consistently, like, I mean, take it for example, rap videos. You always have the women in the background or dancing on the rapper's side. You always, in movies, you always have that one sex scene. You always have that one sex scene of, you know what I mean?
So oftentimes it appears like we're kind of taking this from a negative viewpoint. So my question would be, like, what is that not a compliment, kind of, in a sense, like just that women are the more attractive sex between males and females, which is why we deem them as, you know, we put them on that pedestal as far as attractiveness, like, more than men.
Are they though? Are they really? Or is it because we've placed so much emphasis on them? Is it because we've placed so much emphasis on them that they have now usurped that role? They have now taken on that role. You get what I'm saying? Like, so are they really the more attractive?
I agree with you, Chris.
Okay, obviously, for myself personally, I'm not into men, all right? But and I'm heavily into women. But for me, I'm just looking at it as, are women really the more attractive gender or species, or is it just because we've told them that, so now they have filled that role? You know what I mean?
I think they are.
I feel like it's the biggest marketing scheme because you have women because you'll have women who are like they have this idea in their head that it's so imperative for me to always look good, for me to look really good. But and I guess you can ask the question, like even for yourselves, when you're dressing up to go out, do you guys dress up to go out, or do you guys just live religiously by track pants?
Well, it depends. It depends on the venue.
Okay, so my question is, why do you dress up?
On a general day-to-day basis, or like for banquets?
You guys all have girlfriends, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to go to an event, let's say you were to go to an event where there's going to be all guys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to an event where there was going to be all guys, and you knew that there was only going to be guys, versus an event where there was going to be all girls. Would your style of dressing be different?
Yes, it would.
Why? But you guys are all in a relationship. I'm not trying to put you guys on the spot right now.
No, I know what you're saying, but it's knowing that you're going to be critiqued, right? It's knowing that you're going to be critiqued and assessed, regardless of if you want to be critiqued or assessed or not. It's knowing that you're going to be critiqued, and I don't think anybody. I think first of all, number one, nobody wants to be looked nobody wants to be looked upon and says, okay, well, this guy looks like trash. Like nobody likes that feeling, regardless, right? Of course, you're going to dress. Men are not usually. Or should I say, the majority of the population is not attracted to the same sex, so therefore you don't necessarily worry about being critiqued as much. Right?
Well, here's what I would say to that, because even in some situations, which is why I was saying, hello?
Go ahead, Andro. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what I was saying about like it depends on the venue, because for me, like if I'm in a situation where I'm heading to some kind of, let's say, an investors meeting of some sort, it would definitely matter to me how I dress and the way I'm portrayed. I don't want to walk in there with, sweatpants, looking like a retard, and no one takes me seriously, right? So I think it genuinely does depend on the venue, and I think men do care about the way that they look, but just not as heavily in a day-to-day context as women might.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to get at, and Corey, you touched on it, is why. So yes, you're right, Andrew, it would depend on the venue, but I really want to get at why is it that women will place more thought into what they're putting on or what they're wearing, and I think it's partly because they know when they're going out there, they're not only being critiqued by men, but they're being critiqued by women.
Exactly.
Very much so.
I think that is a huge marketing scheme. I think that, I mean, I'm not one of those like left-wing people, but I'm saying like I really feel like that's all in their head, and now we've gotten to a point where we're kind of just filling that role, where they're kind of just doing it now because it's always been done. And I think that it can be changed, because one of the original questions that I had asked was, can women being seen as sex objects, can that be changed? And one of you guys had said no, but I think it can be. I think with education it actually can, because look at where they've come so far. Like they've completely changed their role. Like they've changed their role, like, and their perception of what a woman is.
I agree. I agree to an extent. Like for example, I believe that for example, they do believe that okay, I'm no longer limited to just in the kitchen. I definitely can make a mark. I definitely can make a mark out in the world. But I feel like there's certain universal standards where it always comes down to, which is their appearance. I feel like their appearance, they always place an emphasis on their appearance because they know that the appearance is basically what is being assessed.
Does it really all come back down to appearance though? Like when you think about it, like so.
I think it does.
I think it's Turkey. I don't know if it's Turkey where they wear the I'm really not good. Like where they wear is it hijab?
Yeah, the thing around their head.
Yeah, where they wrap their entire selves up, right?
Yeah.
Those like, how would a man assess a woman in that respect? Like, how would he assess her in that case? Like, I feel like it doesn't always go back to physical attractiveness. I think that's just what we're taught, or that's just what we know. Not to negate that physical features play a role. I'm not saying that, because we're human beings and we have those urges. But I'm saying, is it really that heavily weighted? Is it as heavily weighted as we think it is? Versus everything else that we can find attractive to an individual. So, and I don't mean to cut you off there, Corey, but when you think of, for example, the light spectrum, right? When you're looking directly on a lamp, we see one color of light. Put
Mhm.
that light prism. There's like a whole different. There's like a whole different spectrum of colors. And it's almost like you have to know that in order for you to be able to see that. But then when it comes to a woman now, so we're used to seeing women, the physical attractiveness of women as being the highlight. But then when women were able to get into roles of education, or when they were able to, when they were given the permission, not really permission, but when we gave them the opportunity, or when they were given the opportunity to become ambitious, then that stuff became more attractive. So it's almost like, okay, well, what else will we be introduced to where we can see that, okay, well, now this is attractive as well. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it can be changed, but it's almost like it has to be done through education. It has to be done.
I believe so. I believe so too. But okay. But for example, take for example the example you gave for the women in Turkey, right? And how they wear the hijab, right? In their culture, if I'm not mistaken, but if in their culture, I believe that the woman is supposed to be covered and only to be for her husband to see, right? And in that culture, I believe there's more arranged marriages. But
Okay.
imagine, but let me ask you, imagine. So I don't know if there's anything to really assess beforehand, but imagine now if those women started taking off their hijabs or showing their face. You're telling me that natural instinct of a man would not be to assess her beauty? I think it would.
No, nah, you're right. I agree. I agree, but I feel like that's not all there is. That's my thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I do believe that there is other components. Like I feel, like I believe that, so, for example, men will, okay, like if this woman is stunningly beautiful, but
Right.
she can't cook, she can't clean, she's lazy, she just wants to sit around the house all day. I believe that a man will definitely pass her over for, let's say, as somebody who's not as beautiful as her, but more decent looking or attractive in their eyes, and they have all the components. So I
So,
don't necessarily think that it's just 100% attraction. Like that wasn't my point.
so do you think that physical attraction trumps all?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I think it shouldn't, but I think a lot of times it does.
So explain
No,
that.
I
Explain
don't
that.
think I don't think so.
I think that for some guys, like, at least they're more looking for the trophy piece versus other guys who are looking for the more pragmatic, practical female who can, do this and that and the other for them. But I think it comes down to a matter of what it is that the guy's looking for. So I think some guys do want just the attractiveness, and she can do whatever in her own time, and other guys do want that support system from their female.
I think that comes with maturity too, though.
Explain that.
Well, for example, a guy who's thinking long term definitely wants a partner who's compatible, right? And definitely complements his skill well. So more mature guys tend to think with that type of mindset that we're trying to build. We're trying to build right now, and need somebody who's compatible where I can be just as equally supportive to her and her goals and her dreams, and she can be just as mine. But I feel like more immature guys tend to go for just the looks and only assess basically that, not realizing that there's more to a person.
So then I guess that goes back to my point where this sexual, wouldn't be objection, but this the way we objectify women in terms of sex, it can be changed. It can be changed because it seems like with maturity, from your standpoint, it seems like with maturity, it's almost like now there's more of a balance now between what I find attractive with the girl. It seems like there's more of a balance. So now when we're younger, yeah, I guess because we're driven by hormones, we're only going to see physical features. I don't really care if a girl can be articulate or not. If I'm 14, 15 years old, I just want to know, okay, like, you know what I mean? Can you twerk it?
Yeah,
But then as
yeah,
I grow older,
I
when I,
agree.
as I grow older, those things become, now I wouldn't say less and less important, but there's other things, there's other factors to take into consideration. So that's what,
Absolutely.
so now, and so this is what I'm saying, because it's almost like it's a paradox, because you'll have a lot of these young girls who will be pursued by guys like that. So what do you think that's going to do to them in terms of their mentality on what guys are versus the older guys, versus the older guys? So I'm wondering if that also plays a role now in why younger women tend to go for older guys. You know what I mean? So and
Yeah.
think about what it would look like if we were to think about what it would look like if we were to educate these younger guys now on other things that women are able to do versus just bodies.
Absolutely.
Like I'm saying, what effect would that have on the women now, on young women?
It'll definitely make them value themselves more. It'll definitely make them, you know, put more emphasis on qualities, on actual valuable qualities rather than just investing
Right.
everything into their image.
Right. Yeah, it would make them recognize, you know, there's other aspects that I can excel in order for a guy to, you know, find me attractive, find me as a good partner versus just their physical image. So it wouldn't be seen as, you know, such a bad thing for me to be educated as a female, or for me to, you know, have this interest or the other, because those things too are also considered as acceptable and attractive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No, for sure, and it's sad because I was talking to I have a friend who's a lawyer, and I was talking to her, and she was telling me that, and the fact that she thinks like this or she feels this way, it's troubling to me. She said that it's hard for her to talk to certain guys because they're intimidated that she's educated. What don't you guys talk on that? Like, they're actually intimidated by how educated she is, or the way she talks, or the way she communicates, or the way she articulates herself. Because she's a lawyer, you know, she knows how to talk. So they feel intimidated that she might use bigger words than them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Then you should start reading more books, blood.
Yeah, I think that's more a reflection on the guy she's
totally.
at least trying to get with, you
Absolutely.
know? Because
Yeah, but it's not just one guy though. It's not like it's just one guy out of 3.5 billion. This is like a lot of guys will feel like, okay, for example, if your woman is more educated than you, how would you feel about that? And be real.
Well, it depends. Wait, it depends. It depends because no, it depends. Because what do you define as more educated?
Work for you, right?
Okay, for example, what do you define as more educated, right? Because
Okay,
for example,
go ahead.
right? I could have a woman who all she knows is a lot of theoretical stuff, right? So, for example, let's say she went to school and she took the arts, okay, and she has the paper that says, okay, you know, she has a degree, this, that, and the third. But let's say she doesn't know anything about what a mortgage is, or she doesn't know what like, you know, what to do, like where to put the car, like how to fix a car. Not necessarily fix the car, but like, you know, when do you need an oil change? When do you need this? Or should we say street smarts? You know what I'm saying? Street smarts. So I think education is all relative.
Yeah, that was going to be my
sure.
point exactly, because it kind of boils down to me as, like, you know, maybe the guys who are intimidated by that lawyer girl, maybe because they're not doing very much themselves, and they think it's if I don't have that, then I can't you know, be around her because I'll feel like less of a guy. But for me, if the girl, all she has is, you know, she has her doctorate in this, that, and the other, but I know that I'm out there doing my own thing and I'm successful in what it is that I'm trying to achieve, then I don't see a problem with that, to be quite honest with you.
So when I said more educated, what I actually meant was she'd be teaching you more stuff than you'd be teaching her. So I know for myself, I have scenarios where I'm able to show my girlfriend certain things. You know what I mean? Open up her eyes to a new perspective on different things.
Right.
And to be honest, I do that more to her than she does to me. Mind you, she does do that to me a lot. But I think that for the most part, I would do that to her more than she would do to me. I can't really tell you how I would feel if the roles were reversed. I feel like for myself, I'd feel, to be completely honest, I'd feel less of a man if at every given moment my girlfriend had to teach me something. I mean, this is general. This is general. I'm not just talking about if she's an expert in finance and she's always teaching me something about finance. That's different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about generally in life. If she come to me, if I always.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no question. I would feel like what is going on here?
Well, I mean, that's what we call it. You will be getting sunned. So.
But the question is, why is that though?
It's just because men are more driven by achievement and attainment of that type of stuff. So it's kind of like, you know, guys should be able to be the one with that, you know, all that knowledge, kind of more. At least they should be the holders of more than the person that they're with. I think, at least that's from my perspective, at least.
But so I'm going to take the feminist view then. You misogynistic pig. So Like, why? Why should you have that role? Why should you be the one to be able to get that? Why can't I? Why?
Okay,
What's the problem?
for myself, it's just because it's kind of ingrained in me that like as the man in the relationship, it's my responsibility to kind of be like the breadwinner. And as far as being the breadwinner goes, it's like one of the things that's included is having the overall stronger bit of muscle that I can be effective in my given industry or work environment.
Okay. Corey, what do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with Andre. I believe that as a man, you kind of feel the need to want to lead, right? And it's very hard to lead somebody who knows a lot more than you. Like I mean, like if you're constantly getting outsunned, like I mean, there's really nothing to.
Outsunned.
You're gonna feel inadequate.
Right.
So I think every man in his relationship at least wants to lead. So when you don't feel like you could do that when you have somebody who consistently knows more than you in every single aspect, then it's a problem.
So
Agreed.
okay, so then is that like a general thing with men though? And why? And I guess the question would be: we're living in this is 2014, guys. This is 2014. Why is it that the man should be the only head of the home? Like, why can't the woman also be the one to where the man looks up to her? Why can't I? Or why can't?
Yes.
Why can't my girlfriend? Why can't I look up to my girlfriend? Why does it seem like I'm? Because it's interesting. Why does it seem like I'm less of a man if I run to my girlfriend with everything, or if I run to my girlfriend for advice on everything, versus the other way around? Why is it that when she runs to me, or if she will come to me for advice, or she comes to me to learn something new, why does that make me seem like more of a man? Like, why is that? Why is this? Why do I seem like we're in 2014? Like, if she wants to lead, let her lead, man. Let her lead.
Well, here's the.
Like, no, I want to make sure it's clear that these thoughts do not reflect my real thoughts. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing, though. The thing is, for example, there's certain characteristics that kind of put you in a frame for leadership, right? So, for example, men tend to be men on average are more physically stronger than women, right? So let's say you're a woman, obviously, how tall are you, Chris? 6'2"?
Nah, 6'4". Don't disrespect me like that, son.
Oh, sorry, 6'4". Okay, you're 6'4", and your girl is what? Let's say 5'4", whatever. In the event of let's say you're walking on the street and somebody's threatening you and this and that. For you to go and huddle behind your girlfriend, it kind of the law is natural. It goes against natural laws. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're absolutely right. But you want to know what's really messed up though is that most women in that case, they would say the same thing, that the man he's a wuss, he's a punk.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
But yet the woman wants to have the equal right or the equal role, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying it's almost like it's a pick and choose type of thing.
Yeah, it's
so
situational, right?
Huh?
It's situational as far as when they want to lead and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I can't go and scour behind my girlfriend and say like, yo, take her first, because now I seem like less of a man. Versus
hey, you guys, hold on, pause for a second. Hold on. You guys have to edit this part out.
Now this is getting good, yo. Now this is getting lively.
But absolutely. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, that's pretty much it. Like it's just like it's very situational. It's very situational where they want, I guess, where they feel like they're competent enough to want to take charge of that role. And I guess this is going back to the man, the Superman syndrome, because when a woman can hop into that role when she feels like she's adequate enough, but a man, whether he feels that way or not, he has to play that role. So if I don't think I can beat this guy up, it's either we still have to fight or we're running away and you're going to look down on me as a man.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. It's true.
Very true.
Interesting.
Absolutely. But I mean, I guess it also depends on the woman too. Like, I mean, like if your woman loves you enough, or if she's mature and smart enough, she would understand. Okay, well, I highly doubt that my boyfriend can take on seven dudes who are of similar size. So yes, running might be the smart option. So I mean,
right.
if she's gonna look down upon you for that, then I mean, the issue's with her,
Right. No, that's true. But I guess it's like a universal thing where if a man were to hide behind his woman in any situation.
Absolutely.
Right.
Even though women are primarily, they're better at arguing or debating or for the most part or like communicating. Right? Would you agree? Would you guys agree that women are better?
At
I don't
communicating.
know if I'd say better at debating and arguing. I think it's just because they have.
Like arguing. Like I know for myself, my girlfriend can out argue me any day.
But I don't know
Like
if it's that she can out argue. I think for myself, at least,
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
just because she has more stamina in the argument to, go over the same point over and over.
no, but I'm not saying that the content of what she's saying is valid. I'm just saying from which comes out of her mouth.
Sound like a patriarchal jerk, sir.
No. I'm kidding. No, but seriously though, I think that with women, like, so for example, if we were to get into an argument with I don't know, let's say there was a couple. Let's say for example, me and my girlfriend, we went out, we were in the theater, and then we got into like a heated argument, like a really heated argument with a couple in front of us or something for whatever reason. And now if I'm the kind of guy, if I now think about it, if I step back, right, and I say, and I'm kind of hiding behind her, versus her up front arguing, going back and forth with the two people, what are you guys gonna think?
You need to guess. Grow a pair.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, yo,
Even though that might be stronger at arguing or debating or putting a point forward than I am, I'm still considered to be the coward.
Right.
Lord.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know. I find that to be interesting. Man.
Absolutely.
This pretty much concludes, unless you guys have any other last thoughts, or do you want any smidgets of wisdom you want to share with anybody, with the guys, with the women, whoever?
Learn each other's love languages.
Okay.
Definitely try and learn each other's love languages.
What's a love language?
You can cut that part out.
Yo, I tried to rescue you, guy. What the heck?
So anything you guys want to say before we cut? Any pieces of wisdom, any nuggets that you guys want to share to men or women? Okay.
Hold on. No. You're gonna edit. I'm trying to think of something that actually makes sense.
For me, I guess it's a message to the guys that I would send out is, you know what? I know it's easier said than done, but we have to really take into account. Yes, we're visual creatures as men, and we want women to look good. But I guess it's more of understand the effect that it has on her. You know what I mean? If I'm only pursuing her for her looks, or if I'm expecting her to look good at every single moment, what is that telling? Where is her confidence gonna lie? Where is that gonna place her confidence? What's gonna happen when I don't compliment her? You know what I mean? Like for example, you guys, when was the last time you got complimented from your girlfriend?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
This morning, actually.
Good girl. This morning. Yo, you're making me look bad then, bro.
Oh, sorry.
But I guess no. My girlfriend complimented me a couple days ago, maybe. but my question to you guys is this: when you don't get a compliment, how do you feel?
So
Well,
there-
it depends. When you say don't get a compliment, like, I mean, like, ever, or
like, as in,
No,
if
no.
I just got a haircut type of thing? Like, am I expecting
No,
her to?
in general, like so let's say a week goes by and you never got a compliment. She never told you like you look great. She never told you have a nice smile. She never told you you look like you're toning up, whatever. Like if you do not receive compliments from your girlfriend, how would you feel?
I don't really think I feel much of a waste, to be quite honest with you. Like, only in instances where it's like, you have to have noticed that, like, I did something really kind of out of the ordinary, then I would expect something. But other than that, on a day-to-day basis, I don't think I really particularly care, to be honest.
And you, Corey, I know you're more of the sensitive type.
I'd have to agree with Andro. I mean, I don't really. I'd have to say, yeah, it wouldn't really affect me unless it's situational.
Right, and I would say the same thing. And I did an experiment with my girlfriend where she got her eyebrows done, and I told myself I'm not going to say a word to her about it. We're just going to continue to carry on the conversation like nothing happened. And then she said later on, she's like, "You're not going to say anything about my eyebrows?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I got my eyebrows done." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even notice." And I actually did, but I wanted to see the way she was going to react. And it's like she was expecting that compliment. She was expecting that reassurance that she looked good. You know what I mean? And for me, it's almost like it's a problem. So I think that that's derived from men, to be completely honest with you. And I think that men, they need to understand the effect that, yes, you might be pursuing them for their physical attraction, but you also got to remember that this has an effect on them. You know what I mean? This actually has an effect on them and who they feel like they are and what they begin to value about themselves. So that would be my piece of advice: is to expand your spectrum of attractiveness or attraction or what you see to be attractive in a woman.
Agreed. Absolutely.
That's it for me. And for actually no, I have one for women too. Women, honestly, man, like you guys are amazing, but in a lot of ways you guys don't know it. You know, you guys are pumped up on the wrong things. You know, you're pumped up on the way you look. You're pumped up on I don't know, maybe the amount of friends you have, or maybe the amount of compliments you can get in a day, or the amount of followers that you can rack up on Instagram or whatever. But really, like, there's so much more to you than just the way you look. And so when you begin to portray that, that's what we'll also begin to see as men. That's what we'll also begin to see as attractive as well. You know what I mean? When you guys begin to portray a different side of your womanhood. That's it for me.
Mhm.
I agree.
Is there no other last thoughts, or gonna wrap up?
You basically summed it up.
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to think of something else, but you kind of got everything in a blanket there.
Okay, so well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to our very first session of Words from Wisdom. There's definitely going to be more to come. We're going to try to commit to having 2 a month if we can get the technology down packed. Definitely look forward to next month. We're going to be talking about youth and the lost generation. I want to thank you guys again, and it'll get better. Take care. You guys have any last thoughts?
Are you gonna go off live, Audrey, or?
Oh, sorry guys. Hold on, I'm ending now.
There's a lot of editing that has to be done, blood.